Good evening, everybody. Fantastic start. It's twice now. You are now watching the ART Gr.4 MR Challenge Round 3 at Sardegna, or Sardegna. We are at the Route B layout this evening. And you're currently riding on our board with your host of the race events, ART Wayno. I'm a commentator for this evening's SuperSquid. And as always, I hope you're, one, all safe and well, and two, looking forward to a fantastic evening of Gran Turismo sport. Tonight's race should be much more exciting than the events in Tokyo last week. Of course, we know that Tokyo is much more about straight line speed and dominance on one particular section. yes, Ravi, I will get the round right eventually. Didn't have a very good time the first time. Around But anyway, with a fair few more corners and a very tricky kind of exit of the first and entry to the third sector, we're hoping we'll get a couple more overtakes in the corners at least. To those of you watching, I think that's Langster and Dan. Pleasure to have you guys on board. I hope you guys will at least put up with me during the intro. Let's share the link in the Discord while we're here. And while I mention the Discord, as is my tradition, because I'm very grateful for these guys having me on their team, if you want to get involved in some fantastic sim racing events, whether they be for who you might consider as amateur drivers, all the way up to the endurance, superbly skilled professional lot, we've got a range of events going on here at Amigos Racing Team, from Mazda Roasters up to 3-hour endurance events every few Sundays. So if you want to get on board, we'll put the website in the description. That's amigosracingteam.co.uk, and the Discord will be in the description as well. Recently we took on a special event to commemorate the passing of Murray Walker, which was a fantastic event commented on by myself and Roadrunner Dan down in the comments. And if you want to watch something truly exciting racing, I guarantee you will be entertained from start to finish. What a tremendous event that was. I'll try and promise the same for you tonight. So tonight's entrance, we have Tom Williams, back from a decent result last week. The one and sim only, Simo119, the race winner, who joined last week as a new entrant and will probably have only come out for second place. It wasn't for our Langster down in the comments there deciding it was going to be a one-off event for himself. So Simo taking home the race win last Thursday. As mentioned before, host for this evening, ART Wayno. Thank you, Wayno, for organising a brilliant mini-series so far. I've really enjoyed commentating on it, and the feedback on the race hosting experience itself has just been overwhelmingly positive, so please keep up the good work. We've got Diovis in fifth, driving that lovely yellow livery McLaren there, sliding through the middle sector. The Thunder from down under, ART Seth, in P6 so far in the practice standings. The one and only Pig Stig. Most pigs like to roll in mud, but this one likes to spin on tarmac. Let's see if he keeps it in a straight line today. The Great Dane has just left the pits there, so I have to jump on board them with Digital Blasphemy, who would have been our race winner if Simo had left the lobby, but turns out he's sticking around for the rest of the course, so Blasphemy took second place. Puts on a cracking Jamaican accent if you ask him nicely. Beardy McBeard coming out of the pits as well in 9th place. One to watch, he might be looking to start from the back and work his way through the pack. There's the Great Dan himself then, lays 1 star, also leaving the pits. Looks like he's thinking of qualifying on the hard time. Willie D in 11th currently in the Falcon McLaren, who had an extraordinary race last week, starting from the very back, choosing not to qualify at all, eventually resulting in quite a high finishing position. I think it was 5th if I remember rightly, but someone will probably have to correct me in the comments. I believe that's all I've run. We've got Irby, can't forget about Irby, in the Heineken McLaren, not drink and drive, but hopefully he'll be keeping it on the black stuff this evening. And I think it's probably a couple more in the pits if I pick the right button here. No, I think that must be everybody then. Oh, of course, wait, Brett Rickett, didn't mention Brett Rickett, I don't think, no, in the red McLaren. Stormed to victory in Austria, but with a bit of confusion over the tyre strategy, didn't do so well in Tokyo last round. While we talk about strategy, there are several race requirements this evening. all drivers will have one set each of the super softs, softs and medium tyres at their disposal, and an unlimited set of hard tyres. Brett, if you're listening, you don't have to use all the tyres, just the ones that are going to get you through the race. But if they do double up on a set of softs, supers or mediums, they must switch them out within one lap, because we're not going to penalise you straight away. We're a nice bunch of guys. I also believe the top 8 drivers will be starting on the tyre that they qualify on, so it's up to them if they want to try and pull away straight away on the super soft tyres, or go for a slightly longer first stint on the softs, mediums or hards. You may have seen in the chat on the left there that Wayne wants to start qualifying in a minute, and Road when I'm done saying remind Benotto, not Brett, on the strategy calls there. Well, I think now Brett's a little more familiar with the rule set. I'm sure we'll see a much more competitive race from him this evening. I want to know though, who is your tip to win tonight's event? I personally think that Brett is going to be up there, but I don't think it's going to be his race today. I'm going to put my money on, let's put a random number on the keyboard. Good choice for me, I think. I'm going to go for Simo for the race win tonight. Very fast last week. Just pipped by Lancaster over the finish line, but I think with one of the tougher drivers out of his way, I think this could be an easy race win for Simo. But who is your tip? Put it in the comments below. And while you're there, put a thumbs up on the video. So looking at the track then, we can see it's a lot more technical than Tokyo, much more of a shorter track. The lap time's a little bit shorter as well. But the places to be looking for will be, as Raquette blasts down the straight here into turn 1, you've got this enormous long straight into a very, very tight left-hander. This is probably a popular place to go for an overtaking move. Some of the braver drivers might try it through the hairpin, you can see there, which is about turn 5 or 6. And then, especially as well, into that tight right-hander leading up into the third sector. That'd be a very popular spot as well. So, the qualifier is underway. Let's have a look at the... let's have a quick look at the chat just to see how we're doing there. So I think we see a couple people say that Simo is being picked for the win as well, I think. If I read that rightly. Oh no, it was Black's saying Blasphemy first, so it's an interesting pick. Of course, Blasphemy, the tyre saving expert that he is. Simo to be going second then, and Pigspin in third. Well, a vote for Pigstig is definitely something we love to see. So let's see if Lancaster is on the money tonight. Meanwhile, Rabbit looks like he's going to put Simo up in first place as well, as is Roadrunner Dan, but putting Pigstig in second. Well, if you watched the special event last on Saturday, Pigstig has a tendency to get a little bit slidey, but of course he was driving something with about twice the horsepower as he is tonight, so I'm sure he stands a much better chance this evening. Let's see it. Rabbit saying Simo for the win, Willie D in second and Brett in third. Well, if Willie D pulls off another strategic masterclass by bunking the qualifying, I wouldn't be surprised at all. We can see he's got a long train, about 8 cars, all trying to get space for their qualifying laps. Maybe some trying to get the slipstream, others trying to hold off for a little bit. I think this is definitely more of a track where you want to be a little bit further spaced out, because with that huge straight, if you catch them too early, you'll be fighting down into turn 1, and that's going to completely hamper your lap. Lancaster says he'd put myself first, but I'm not racing. Humble as always, Lancaster. Wonderful, love to see it. So I think what we'll do, we'll jump a little bit further through the pack, see if there is any fighting going on down there at all. Let's have a look at Tom Williams. So Tom Williams in the NSX, not the most powerful car on the grid today, but being a little bit lighter than the McLaren, if my memory serves me well, this should do him a favour when it comes to tyre wear. Let's have a look. NSX, yeah. Oh no, the NSX is definitely heavier. Only about 80 kilos in it. So for all we know, he might actually be a little bit worse for tyre wear. We'll have to see as he goes through. Lancaster, you know it's true, Squiddy. I mean, as a commentator, I reckon I should be impartial, but I think, should we say the less competition, the better. So you see Tom Williams there, going through the first sector. Still a reasonable distance to Seth and Lace up ahead of him. But Sim, I think, will be just in the slipstream trail there to get those last embers of drag up that middle section straight there. Going a little bit wide there. Simo, he's gone sliding into the gravel, but he has maintained it for the time being. Not going to help his outlap, but of course it's time for him to burn some fuel, get a banker lap in, and hopefully nail the next one. Tom Williams, you can see, is also catching on to the draft of Lay's 1 star, who's been passed by Seth F1 on the qualifying lap. I don't know who that's going to affect more, but it's definitely going to be benefiting Tom as he takes the last 2 corners right in the slipstream. The Honda, not being quite as powerful as the McLaren, will definitely be keen on that as he crosses the line. And as we say there, puts it on pole with a 1:25.6. Probably not the fastest lap we're going to see tonight, but definitely a respectable benchmark as he goes straight in for another lap then, past Lay's 1 star. So with most drive second time now, as Ueno hits that 1:28 dead, a respectable time from him in 8th place. He's told me this evening he's looking forward to having a much better night, as Tokyo wasn't quite his place to be. So let's hope Ueno finds himself a little bit further up the standings this evening. Weedy takes that 8th place straight off with a 1:27.4. So curse the commentator, I'm not going to say anything else about Ueno. Hopefully he'll just win and I'll be silent about it. Let's jump forward with someone in the meantime. Let's have a look at Blasphemy. In that red and black McLaren. He was sporting the Marlboro livery last weekend, I believe, last week. But he's gone for something a little bit more, a little bit darker, shall we say. Looks like we've got a little bit of a discussion going on in the comments there about the time trials. I personally am not a time trial guy myself, so I can't get involved in those particularly. But it looks like they may be referencing the time trial competition that you do inside of ART rather than the daily ones. So we've got events for everyone, as you can see there. Blasphemy looks like he's not had a great one on that outlap there on the mediums, so he might be considering a different compound or just getting a fresh set of boots. So it's worthwhile seeing here as well just how long these pit stops take, because with that update that rolled in a couple of weeks ago, it is an enormous delay for many of the tracks to get your tyres and fuel filled up. And even in Sardegna, you can pretty much see your pit box by the time you go in the lane anyway. So maybe it wasn't the best place to do it on this track in particular. Oh, later to talk about the sport mode time trial. Okay, fair enough, my apologies. But even then, we do offer a private ART time trial with a random class and track set up every week in addition to the sport mode ones. So if that was not to your liking, get in the Discord and try and put your best lap in against our best guys. So with about half the qualifying done, our current provisional grid is Tom Williams on pole with that 1:25.6 from before, a 10th ahead of Seth F1, who's almost a second ahead of Beardy. Then we've got a gap to Brett there of about half a second, and he's now half a tenth. Sorry, more Murrayisms. Then 1/10 and ahead of Blasphemy. Simo's pursuing Tom Williams for that slipstream again, down in 6th place. Willie D is 7th. I do really enjoy that Falcon livery. It's really, really nice. Oscar now in 8th. One of the only driver to chosen the Alpha. But being a little bit more nimble through that middle sector, we should make some gains, especially here, this section of the track, as he tries through the last sector now. Irby's currently 9th. 6,000ths of a second ahead of his fellow Slovenian Diovis. So hopefully we'll see some rivalry there tonight. Ueno is currently down in 11th, but with that's the button, with 11th, but with a new set of medium boots on, he should look for another lap shortly. Lay's 1 star in 12th. Looks like he's going for the hard tyres. Going to try Willie D, start from the back and see where his luck takes him. Well, he's now last. As who was that? I completely lost that. I think it was Willie D then takes the spot there up into 7th place. I'm not doing very well here. Let's see. Rabbit would be top 10. I'm sure he would. It's a shame Rabbit's not racing tonight. He's told me he had a power cut. It's shocking news. Drop a like for that one. RIP Oscar in the Alpha. The Alpha Slow Mayo. It's not the optimal car in Group 4 unless you're doing a very small tight track. Maybe something like Scuba. But that's not going to be on the calendar for this series as far as I know. So he may have made an interesting decision. Perhaps we've got a certain Ferrari technical director funding that move, as he was funding Brett's strategy last week. But we'll leave that one up to you guys in the comments. Just 2.5 minutes left of qualifying. So we're currently riding on board with Brett, the only Belgian in the lobby as of yet. Again, he stormed to victory in Austria despite some stranger strategy calls then. And again, another one last week in Tokyo, but now he knows the rules, he's probably going to be much better off. Dan saying power cut is what, third on the excuse list behind no internet, and Mrs says no. Well, for all we know, the Mrs said no electricity and turned the internet off as a result. So all 3 in 1 there. So let's get them all out of the way while we can. You know, racing drivers have enough excuses, don't they? So, just over a minute and a half. We've got 90 seconds till the qualifying session ends, and we're then heading into a 1 hour race. So Willie D, you see in the bottom left, that's like a new best time for 27 flat. Still only good enough for 7th place, so he's not moved off of those or off into the top 5 towards the podium just yet. But we know that his true pace seems to lie in the race itself, with good strategy, good tyre management, good fuel management. So 7th is probably where he wants to be for all we know, and he'll be a dark horse, but definitely one to watch as we go through the 60-minute race. The last minute of qualifying. Let's see if Brett can make any progress as he crosses the line before we jump on board to someone else. So heading over the timing line, and he makes a 1:25.6, so a second faster than last time, up into 3rd place. Fantastic lap by the Belgian. Let's jump on board with Beardy as he's about to come around and set a new lap as well. On the super soft tyres, looks like he's trying to make a push for the front of the grid and pull away from the pack at the start of the race. Coming over the finish line now, under the green lights. Good enough for a 1:25.9, but I don't think that's moved him any further up the list. Wayno's trying to claw back some time with a 1:27.5, but still not good enough to get him into the top 8. Seth, meanwhile, completely missed that one. I was looking at the wrong car. Is now taking lead about 3 tenths ahead, or 2 tenths I think ahead of Tom. There you go, 2 and a bit tenths. And he's on his last lap now. Has he got time to make one more flying lap before we start the race? Can he improve any further on that 1:25.3? A very respectable time at that. Be interested to see if he takes the super softs into the race itself. Let's see if we can ride on board with him for the time being. So using plenty of rumble strip on the outside there, clipping the inside curb, running wide again. These Group 4 cars are all about momentum. They're not the most powerful in the straight line, but what you can keep in the corners, you'll make back down the straights. Off of the last rumble strip there, following a nice open line over the timing line itself, and he puts in, it's not going to be any faster, I think it's about a second off there. So no improvement there from Seth. 1:25 is the time to beat. Tom Williams not going any faster himself. I'm sure we're going to see Brett cross the line shortly. No, he's done for today, 1:26.6. 1:26.8, sorry. Beardy is going to try and put in one more lap as he comes down the main straight, trying to keep, I think, Pigstig out of the slipstream. But does not improve. Simo, Blasphemy, and Willie D are in the pits. Let's see how Dios is doing. Looks like he's finished for the time being. As says Oscar Zero. Irby decided to call it a day as well. Wayno set his last lap of the session, as has Pigstig and Lays. So this looks to be the overall times for the evening. So I think as they wind down, we'll have a look at the running order on screen any minute now. We're going to get some water in the meantime. And there's Rabbit in the chat. Looks like his internet's back as well. Let's see, he's told us there. Plenty of excuses, bud. But no coffee for 4 hours. I'm not happy. I can imagine that doesn't make you a happy bunny at all. I'm not a coffee person myself. I'm definitely much more of a sugar addict. But I know what it's like when you haven't got that hit and you just want to be pumped up for the next part of the evening. Lay's commenting saying it's a tyre's going to be destroyed. It's a tyre eating track. So we're going to have to see how long he makes those last. We've seen previously, Lay's hasn't been the best at keeping his tyres intact, especially on the softer compounds. So hopefully if he can make them last a little bit longer than he has done in the past, he will stand a much better chance in tonight's proceedings. Dan says Willie D starting on hards again and Simone Digit on the mediums. Selby wants to watch later on. Of course, these guys experts at saving their tyres and reserving the softer compounds for a lighter fuel load or a more intense period of the race when they know they need to push. So there's our qualifier. As we wait for the lovely Italian mountains to disappear, we can see there Seth on pole, accompanied by Tom Williams on the front row. You can see this wonderful array of driver ratings. We know that does not matter when all of these guys on the grid are so fantastically experienced. Looks like we're about to get underway. 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 red lights, and it is go, go, go. 1 hour's racing at Sardegna. Seth has made a decent start there. Tom Williams is just sliding over slow. He's trying to cover that line, but Brett will have the slipstream. I think he's going to pass him before they make it into the first corner. Let's see this. Hopefully no more collisions. We had a good race last week in Tokyo, where they keep it intact in turn 1 in Sardegna as well. We can see Seth keeping a nice clean lead already. Opened out half a second to Tom Williams in second. So we can see on board with Seth. Why is my keyboard not working? Let's try that now. There we go. Okay, on board with Tom Williams then. So you can see this massive train unfolding behind Tom Williams. My keyboard's decided didn't want to play fair today. So we got there Tom, Brett getting a little bit loose behind him. If BDB's going to try and benefit from that one. Simo's chasing down slowly in 5th. There's a fight just behind Simo as well. Blasphemy and Oscar Zero having a fight here. See, is Oscar going to make the move on Blasphemy? No. Maybe find a better moment. Again, in a slightly slow Alfa Romeo, he's going to struggle up this hilly section possibly, but we'll try and make the most of it as he goes down the hill on the start-finish straight. Getting a little bit slidey there, holding inside line behind Blasphemy, but he's not going to get anywhere for the time being. Dan's saying a great start for Pigstig. He has made some progress already. Let's see if he can get any more places for this lap. He's catching right onto the back of Oscar Zero. Pigstig close to spinning. I mean, that could be a drinking game in itself, couldn't it, Dan? But let's not do that. I've got a job to do. As Pigstig also has a job to do there, trying to get past Oscar Zero. This is going to be close. Oscar's trying to have the slipstream back as they go into turn 1. He's going to make the move. He's going for it. There's a little bit of contact. Oscar's kept it, but it's close for the time being. Can we get a little clip of that as they go into that corner? Oscar's trying to make that pass, but he just bumps him as he hits the inside. He does get that space back though, so hopefully we're not going to have any investigation of that, and he looks like he might even lose that place to Willie D and Diovis on the way out. So he's still fighting Diovis. Yes, he's now down in 9th. Let's see how the train's going back at the front of the pack again. We've got Seth leading now, still about half a second in front of Tom Williams, so a decent gap he's kept so far. Tom Williams in 2nd, also on the soft tyres. Brett Raquette in 3rd, being hassled by Beardy on the soft tyres. On the super tyres, of course it was super tyres. He wants to get past Brett as quick as he can, make the most of those super softs while they are on the car. The last thing you want to do is be wearing out those precious super soft tyres behind a car that's not going to let you get past. Otherwise you won't have those tyres later and you will be dead as a doornail. He has still, though, made an absolute cappuccino back to Simo in 5th place. 2.5 seconds. But again, on those medium tyres, he's playing the long game, as is Digital Blasphemy behind him in 6th. Pigstig has made another place in 7th place. We are now watching Willie D then in 8th, who's now already starting to gap Oscar by a second down that straight in 9th place. You can see the sheer power of that McLaren. No match at all compared to the Alfa Romeo. And he's now lost another place to Irby, and one to Diovis, and another one to Wayno. Going from bad to worse to for Oscar Zero. He's have to make some serious gains through this race then. I know he's got a massive shoe collection, so it's time he laces up his boots and gets a move on. You see him closing in on Wayno already. Lukey didn't know he had an instant replay feature. I only found out about it when I got the keyboard. You press Z and you hit X, C or V, and you go back a couple of seconds. You also, if you press this button, you get a lovely little decal of the helmet and the gap time. See there, Seth wearing the bright pink helmet. Pigstig would be proud. He is, though, losing time now to Tom Williams in this second sector here. He's gone purple, but Tom is still gaining on him. He's now brought that gap down to about 4/10 rather than 5. See Brett as well is still falling off the back of them a little bit, so maybe he's not done so well on his tyre wear. Pigstig has spun. He's definitely lost some places there. Where is he now? He's not even in the top 10 anymore. Where has he gone, Pigstig? He's very far back now. 13th is the back of the grid. Well, Dan, you called it. Only 3 laps in. He's going to be very happy about that one, and that'll be another entry to the legendary Pigspin Journal. If you want to know what the Pigspin Journal is, Discord will be in the link below. So Seth, now he's put out another 2/10. The Pigspin indeed. 2/10 to Tom Williams. Oh, so Lankster's in the lobby, so got the extra eyes down there. That'd be fantastic. Thanks, Lankster. I am gutted as well. Trust me. Brett then is still closing in on Tom Williams now in 3rd place. You see Tom Williams' front tyre, especially that front left, is now starting to show clear signs of wear, but he's pushing very hard though. As you can see with that fuel usage, he's trying to gap him as quickly as he can. Like I say, it's a shame because he tried to save it very well. Rabbit also saying that Tom has definitely upped his game. Keep going, Tom. Tom, for one, might be the outsider that I was expecting to win. I thought it was going to be Simo's hands. We'll have to see that as we go through. Meanwhile, behind him is that Beardy's picked up a penalty. He has 1/10 penalty. There are no strict rules for penalty serving in this series. I suppose as long as you do it safely, you don't affect someone else's race when you serve it, there shouldn't be a problem. And of course, in a lot of different tracks, you can serve going through the corners. Oh, Brett has lost it. Brett has spun on the exit of the second last corner. Can you see what's happened there? So let's focus on Brett. So he's chasing down Tom Williams. On a very tight line there, right behind him. I think he's just gone too wide as he comes out of this corner here. So he's probably held a nice inside line, clipped the grass on the way out. Looks like he has. He's kept his foot in it as well on the throttle trace, and he's spun. Fortunately, he's ghosted just past Beardy. That's not going to be helping him today. He's going to take a lot of life out of those soft tyres. Simo and even Blasphemy as well. He's going to try and take Simo back on the inside with the extra grate in that McLaren. Simo's going to hang it around the outside. How is this going to turn out? Simo's taking him around the outside, headed into the middle sector. Excellent move by Simo, making the most of those dirty tyres on Brett Raquette. He's not going to be enjoying that at all. And he's got Digital Blasphemy right behind him as well. The medium tyres in a much better state of wear. So I can only assume it's the beginning of the end of those tyres on Brett Raquette. Let's have a quick recap of the grid one more time. Seth F1 now with Brett sliding off his tail and gapping Tom Williams by now a second and a half. So it looks like Tom might have been slightly put off by that spin. Beardy McBeard 3 seconds back to Tom Williams and now 4 seconds ahead of Simo, who's got Brett and Blasphemy right behind him. It's down with Brett, hopefully, you know, once bitten, twice shy in terms of this corner. Yeah, much more conservative line from the Belgian there. Blasphemy chasing the pair of them down in 6th. We can see Irby just coming through into the back of the shot there in 7th, being chased by Willie D in 8th. There's Diovis in 9th, Wayno in 10th, and a 3-car train at the back of Oscar, Lays, and the bright pink pig himself as he makes a move on the Dane. Let's see if this is going to be a neat and tidy move as he tries to make his resurgence up the front. We can see he's got sideways on the front of his car. Perhaps that was a sign of things to come. He does indeed take the Dane on the inside of turn 1, and he's going to keep that place. Good move there by the Pigstig. So runnable with Seth. You can see that Porsche, even though it's slightly lighter than the McLaren, those front right tyre now is starting to give way a little bit. I've been told by Wayno, as he did a bit of practice today, that those right side tyres will die off much, much quicker than the left with all these high speed corners, high intensity left-handers. And I'm sure we will see the next railing pit stops coming in for the soft tyres within the next 3 or 4 laps, I think, just to make sure we avoid any incidents. Looks like I've missed also here that Beardy is... no, he was there in 3rd the whole time. I've not missed anything just yet. Thank goodness. Simo's in 4th then. He's still got Brett right behind him on the softer tyres. Brett is not going to give that podium place up without a fight. But Simo defending well from what I've seen so far. And I'm sure we'll see Brett try and make a move up the inside of Simo as they head down onto the straight. Luca, looking forward to being a part of this when I'm done with uni. Of course, study is very important. Don't neglect your studies. Make sure you get those out of the way first. But when you have, ART will be waiting for you. We're always looking to accept new members. But I think Brett should be looking to accept a couple of new tyres. You can see that front right tyre is almost halfway worn, but he's still going to go around the outside of Simo. Does not care for that Porsche at all. An exceptional move by the Belgian. Let's see how he did that. Riding on board from behind the Englishman in the Porsche. There you can see the extra grunt of the McLaren. Ready to go around the outside. That's a very bold move, given he spun once and his front right tyre is gone. But he's made it stick. Fair play from the pair of them there. Respectful driving by the two of them. That's definitely one to remember. That's one of my favourite overtakes I've seen so far in this series. It's like he's trying to fight Simo back though. Simo probably doing better on the slightly less worn tyres. Simo's going to go around the outside of him. No conventional moves in ART, I'll tell you that one, guys. And Simo takes that 4th place back. And now Blasphemy wants to get involved as well. Of course, with the pair of those fighting, Blasphemy's going to be enjoying this. Rubbing his hands together, keeping his tyres in check, waiting for the next mistake to roll on. Let's have a look further down the pack. Willie D's also narrowly ahead of the two Slovenians, Urbi and Djovis. Perhaps they're considering just to keep each other at a steady pace, keep their tyres in check. But you can see though, Djovis' medium's in about the same state as Brett's softs. So I'm sure it won't be long now until we get the first phase of pit stops. Let's see if we go back to see Brett and Simo. We're going to make another move, not around the outside again. Surely not, sir. No, Simo, I think, is wise to that move now. Defend the middle of the track. Slow up Brett on the entry to that corner. Now invite Blasphemy into that battle again. But Blasphemy probably knows better than that. No savage moves from him. No rash decisions. He's going to wait for that door to open. Speaking of which, if you haven't heard that new song by Bruno Mars, Anderson .Paak, Leave the Door Open, you absolutely should. Absolute banger. So, we've still got this fantastic 3-way fight for 4th place. But of course, with Brett Rickett sandwiched in the middle of 2 medium tyre runners, I'm sure it's not long before he gives up the ghost. He's run very wide there, trying to get around the outside of the Porsche with that McLaren power. He's made it stick for the time being, but will he have the grip into the braking zone? Blasphemy wants 2 for 1. Oh, it's not quite worked. That's a shame. Is he going to keep it on the inside, though? No, he's going to give that move up. Let's have a quick look at that one again. We can see, as they're battling into the exit of the 3rd sector, well, exit the 2nd sector, rather, Blasphemy is watching this battle unfold, trying to see who's going to give first. If there's space for 3 in that corner, there is indeed, but not with the momentum he carries on the way out, and he's had to give that one back. It's a shame. It would have been a very, very clever move. But he's going to try and fight that one another day, it seems. Still going down the straight, tightly bunched together. We can see, I think that might have been Urbi, the first of the pitters today. It's like Brett's gone around the outside of Simo again. He'll just go for any move that isn't on. Oh, he's like, oh my bad. That's a very bad note for me there. He's already taken him. Well, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Brett might just teleport in front of him there. We've seen him go around the outside. It's just evolution, really. It's what's bound to happen next. So whoever's watching, I'm very sorry. I'm just not on it today, clearly. So, as we enter lap 9 now, we're approaching the first 25% of our race distance tonight. We've still got Seth, Tom and Beardy up at the front, managing their own race. They all seem to be about maybe 3 to 5 seconds gap to each other. And of course, they want to be making sure they keep track, keep themselves clean, keep themselves consistent, making sure they don't fall into the same pitfall that Brett Rickett did earlier. You can see now that front right tyre is far from useful now. He's got to be thinking of pitting soon. He's definitely slowing up Simo and Blasphemy behind him, but at the cost of his own race as well. I think Simo's had enough. He's going to try and get the inside. Blasphemy going for the rallycross line there into the last corner. Are we going to see Brett peel away? No, he's going to go for one more lap. I think at this point, Brett must have had the red mist come down on him. He thought, that's it, I need these places. He's going to have that Porsche down the main straight, but I think we're going to see that Porsche try and take him back in the entry. No, so Simo's going to let him go. Not risk burning up his front or rear tyres anymore for the sake of one position. Of course, all the fights they've been doing has been losing them time to that front trio of Seth, Tom and Beardy. And Simo now needs to start evaluating these short-term wins against his long-term ones. Simo, who's one of the youngest members of ART, definitely shows racecraft of an older driver, as Brett decided to just let that place go. So he's gone very wide there into turn, I think, 4, I believe. Simo's taken it up the inside, and now he needs to make that gap. Even if it's the cost of a bit more fuel, the last thing he wants is Brett putting another move on the inside and delaying his race any further. Blasphemy as well, looks like he's hunted him down just in the back of the shot there. And he's going to go up the inside. Oh, they've left each other space, but no dice for Digital Blasphemy. Willie D now getting involved in the fight. Lancaster saying Simo's only talented because I taught him everything he knows. Well, I'm looking forward to commentating the 1v1. I believe Brett is youngest out of the two of them. So Brett and Simo there, two of the young guns, enjoying his time in ART, not enjoying his time with Digital Blasphemy. He's done the same move as Brett, and he's put it in the wall. Poor Digi, what is happening today? These guys are not enjoying the exit there into that last few corners. We can see he keeps that inside line, but he just runs too wide. And unfortunately, where he held it in the Formula 1500 race for Murray Walker, he's not held it today. But he has quite smartly pulled off of the track to make sure no one else gets collected with him. Puts him down to 9th place, but we see Tom Williams and Beardy are now in the pits. Like Tom's going for another full tank almost on the softs. Or onto the mediums, sorry. While Beardy's going to stop a little bit shorter to try and stay with him, also on the medium tyres. So our current running order off the first few pit stops is Seth, 18-second gap to Simo. Of course, they're both yet to pit. Willie D, as he's mentioned before, playing the very, very long game on the hard tyres, up into 3rd place now. Diovis is in 4th place. Oscar Zero from the back, also on the harder tyres, going for a long stint there on the Alfa Romeo, is the 5th place driver tonight so far. Pigstig, big comeback from him again, up into 6th place. Let's keep it on the road. Wayno also climbing up through the order a bit now in 7th place. Let's see a better race from him this evening, hopefully. Blasphemy recovering from his spin is back into 9th place with Lays just ahead of him in 8th. Tommy is fresh out the pits on the mediums, is in 10th. Same times for Beardy in 11th. Irby is also put on a new set of mediums in 12th. And at the very back is Brett on the hard tyres now. Or is he? Irby's gone quite wide there. See what happened to Irby. So he's braking into the entry of the 3rd sector. He just carried a bit too much speed there, it looks like, into the gravel. That slowed him down. He's not spun, but Brett is not going to enjoy that collision at all. That's going to hamper his race. Every 10th of a second counts here, guys. So let's see, as Simo is, or Blasphemy's gone in the pits now. It's about time, I think those tyres definitely gone. Simo's going to hold out a little longer on those mediums. But it's now inviting Willie D to catch him. You see that front right tyre is not having a good time at all. You see him understeering, losing slight rear grip as well now as he comes out of that tricky right hand hairpin. So we still have Simo first there, rocking the Ayrton Senna style helmet, it seems. Understeering into that corner. Willie D is going to be looking at that. He's going to try and make a move on the left. Simo keeps it in the middle of the track. Willie D is going to go straight past him on the inside. He'll be very happy to see that, knowing those hard tyres are going to get him some clear air out in front once Simo has to pit. That's also going to cost him time down to Diovis in 3rd place. He's also looking at a very battered front pair of medium tyres there, almost going off the same place that Blasphemy did and Brett did earlier tonight. Goodness me, we've had 2 spins already and we're not even 20 minutes in. This is going to be an exciting one, I'm sure. So we've still got Willie D and Simo leading the pack. Brett in 3rd. Sorry, Diovis in 3rd, sorry. Oscar in 4th. Wayno in 5th with Seth in 6th. That fresh set of mediums. The Pigstig's just gone in behind them. Is Seth going to try and put a move on the inside of Wayno? I'm not too sure if he's close enough yet. No, not for the time being. He's going to show that for another time. That Porsche being slightly lighter through the middle sectors should be his to his advantage as we go through into the next few corners. He's going to put up the inside of Wayno early, looks like. Wayno maybe understeering in that heavier McLaren, and Seth makes that pass for 5th place. These two fighting, they might invite Lays One Star in 7th back into the fight. But those hard tyres, he's not going to be doing very well through this part of the track. I'll probably be giving time back to Tom Williams on a much fresher set of medium tyres. So you have a quick look at the front of the pack. It looks like Simo has caught onto the back of Willie D somewhat. He has indeed. Only about 9/10 a second behind Willie D there as they head through into the last 3 corners of the circuit. Sardegna being one of the slightly more popular circuits of choice for the FIA nations and manufacturers, although I much prefer Sardegna A myself, especially in the Group 1s. It's a fantastic track to blitz in the Toyota TSO 50. I'm sure it's just as fun for these guys with a bit more handling to do in these Group 4s. So we can see Diovis is peeled away into the pits, putting Oscar Zero, who's still yet to pit, into third place in the Alfa Romeo. So he's done a very good job in a much slower car to keep up for the time being. Let's see how much longer he goes. He's got about, I'd roughly say 40% fuel left. So I'm sure we'll see him go for at least another 6 laps. Or maybe another 5 laps. I've got to do more maths. Goodness me. Let's see, we've got another comment there. I think my stream is frozen. I'll get the comments back up again. So yes, Oscar's there trying to bear down on Seth. They're getting very slidey. Yeah, hang the tail out. Why not? Let's see. Lancaster says we should be on the soft for a shorter stint. That would probably be a good choice if they have the chance and the gap either side. Bless you. But of course, the one thing they don't want to do under any circumstance is to end up pitting and coming out into traffic. That's not going to be where they want to be on a softer compound of tyres. Oscar's still getting very slidey easy there. Let's see if we can get a quick shot of that again. Just behind Oscar we see he's got the low revs there, so that turbo will be pushing a little bit harder. But as he takes the inside line, he's probably braking, steering, getting the car unbalanced. And with a light MR car like the Alfa Romeo, it's not what you want to be doing. You want to be preserving those tyres. You can see his rear right tyre is not having a good time at all. So Lancaster was saying Simo needs to pit with those tyres. So a quick look back then at Simo's tyres. Yeah, that front left is atrociously worn. And I think if he goes into pits now, a couple of laps of fuel in as well, I'm sure he could easily make it out behind, I believe that'll be Lays. So it won't be Lays, that'll probably be Beardy then. Beardy will be about 17 seconds down. Oh, actually, no, I say that, but it probably takes 70 seconds just to get into the box. Sarah might be coming out towards the back of the pack, losing that time on the softer tyres. I don't even know what I'm talking about. Goodness me. So, one more recap as we hit that first 20 minutes of our race. Willie D, still yet to pit, 1 second ahead of Simo, also still yet to pit. But look at the gap on those tyre wear graphs in the bottom left. They are very, very, very different. Willie D's held onto those hard tyres very well, and hopefully he's got a couple more laps in them yet. Might be going for maybe a 2-stop race here, Willie D, onto some mediums, then some softs perhaps. Seth then, so he's probably our net leader once all our pit stops have been made on the set of medium tyres and a very healthy looking amount of fuel. Behind him is Oscar Zero, who's really dragging the hell out of those hard tyres in that Alfa Romeo, as Simo does indeed come into pit. Maybe he's listened to Lancaster, the crew chief. Oscar then has also got the hard tyres. He's going to stay out for one more lap at least. We've then got Tom Williams in 5th. Again, one we thought we might be one to watch this evening. And we can see there a 3-car train right behind him. Wayno, Lays and Beardy. So look from Beardy's point of view. He's going to take Lays. Is he going to take Wayno as well? He's gone down the inside. There's a lot of momentum. Is he going to keep it the place? He does indeed. Excellent play there. So we can see he's got a double slipstream all the way down the straight there. Perhaps Wayno and Lays have been fuel saving, and Beardy sees this as his chance to make that move. So you can see he pulls inside of Lays before he's even got to the corner. Wayno braking early. Beardy does not care for that at all. And it's a close shave for the Beardy on the gravel, but he does make it stick. And he now takes 5th place from the pair of them. So let's see if we follow down the pack a little more. I think Simo's pit stops put him into 10th place, right underneath the pig stig, but on the super soft tyres. So let's see how long he can make those last with about a quarter tank of fuel when he came out. Right under the snout of the pig stig as he follows him into the tight right-hander, marking the end of the second sector. Is he going to go around the outside like Brett did to him earlier? No, perhaps we'll go for the cutback instead with the grippier tyres. You can see indeed he's got a much better exit there, much better traction. Pig stig has the inside line. Is he going to go for a cutback again then? So he's caught the edge of the grass there, but extremely tight there into this kind of triple left-hander here. No, not a chance right now. Fry is a little bit better out of that corner with more line across the track, but he's probably going to have to line this one up for a huge slipstream down the straight. Unless, of course, Pigstig bins it on the exit of the last corner. I don't know why I try predicting these things anyway. And he's got a half-second penalty for his troubles. Good job, Pigstig. I definitely transitioned to Brett on purpose there. But if we ride back behind Simo, Pigstig is not happy with that. In the break zone, it's like he's serving his penalty. Very interesting decision there. But that means Dios is now taking part in this three-way fight for 6th place. Let's have a look on board with Dios. He's gone quite wide there. See how this battle unfolds from his point of view. Again, as mentioned earlier, Dios is one of 2 Slovenians in the lobby. ART does not mind where you are from. We are an international racing community. We've got members from Slovenia, Japan, America, Portugal, you name it. It's probably on our Discord. So if you are interested in an international racing league, we are the guys to be with. So Dio is watching this fight as he heads into the 3rd sector. We can see Pigstig giving a little bit of time away to Simo now. So Simo is going to try and pull away on those super soft tyres as much as he can while they still last under his car. Again, super soft tyres, extremely grippy when need them to be, but after a couple of laps they'll be showing signs of wear much more obvious than any other compound. Let's have a look then at the front with Seth and Willie D. We can see Seth's got about a 6/10, 7/10 gap to Willie D. But Langston tells we've been fighting, so this might be one to watch for the immediate future. Seth had a pretty consistent race so far, starting on pole, not had any battling to do. We saw him pull away at about ½ seconds, 6/10 gap within the first couple of corners. So he knows as long as he keeps up front with a consistent pace, keeping it clean, this race could be his done. Could be his, well, for the taking really. Like I say, Seth got the overtake done in turn 1, so I probably missed that then. Of course, yes, the Willie D was on the harder tyres before. So if you have a look quickly, he's still on those harder tyres. So Seth now making that new compound work for him. So this is probably now the time that Willie D needs to be coming in. Although looking at the time with that 33 minutes over his head, he might be considering 1 or 2 more laps, so he can do maybe another couple minutes on the softs or the super softs even, rather than go medium soft. I have to see what's his decision as he comes down the straight. He's going to stick it out for at least another lap. So my prediction for the time being is he comes in on 30 minutes, puts the softs on, and then maybe 10 minutes to go, puts the supers on. But I'm no expert, I'll leave that to Dan down in the comments. He knows a lot more about this than I do. Langston thinking Willie D needs the medium tyres. If he pits now, definitely medium tyres. But I think if you can hold on for 1 or 2 more laps, he might make that time back on the softs. But he's still at a 10-second gap to Beardy. Who's 2 seconds off of Beardy. Those two have kept themselves fairly consistently throughout this race, especially with the spin from Brett, who's now down in P5, fighting with Simo. Simo's taking him up the inside into turn 1. Gotta cut to that one just then. Luck there. I don't think Brett's going to have this move just yet unless he makes an enormous dive bomb on Simo. It's not like him to do that from what I've seen. So he's going to keep that for the time being. Let's see if we can get a clip of that move into turn 1. So Simo's had an enormous slipstream down the straight. And again, on the super soft tyres, he's probably braking much, much later than the Belgian there. He pulls out at the last minute and makes that move into turn 1. And with better traction as well, he's going to pull away as quick as he can. Good move there from the Brit. So once the replay eventually disappears, that would be nice. I don't know what button to press. I'm guessing it's that one. Okay, good. So running order now. I believe almost everybody has made their pit stops. We have Seth in the lead now, almost 5 seconds ahead of Willie D. So he's really trying to make those hard tyres go as long as they can. But he's now losing out big time. We can see he's losing time to Seth, and Tom Williams is gaining on him behind as well. 2.5 seconds between him and Beardy McBeard in the grey McLaren, with about 10 seconds to go to Simo down the road, who's now extended that lead over Brett by another second. Brett is in turn 1.5 seconds ahead of Pigstig in P7, so another great comeback by him. Let's see if we can get any more places this evening. The Slovenian duo of Dios and Irby in 8th and 9th respectively. Oscar Zero on the medium tyres now, fresh set of means for him, is down in 10th place. Wayne, our event host, is now on the super soft tyres down in 11th, so he's going to need to make some inroads very quickly on the pack. Lays one start down in 12th position. And at the rear is Digital Blasphemy, who's gone in for a set of hard tyres. So perhaps this will be him until at least the last 10 minutes of the race, if not going the whole way. So he might be trying to go just for the one stop this evening, it seems, trying to offset everybody else. Lankster Dan, please remind me about this one later, because I know I'll forget. So you can see there, Beardy also going a bit wide there on the grass. But he's going to keep it intact. Willie D now in the pits from second, so I have to see where he comes out. He's made it to that half-hour mark as I predicted. So is he going to go for softs, or is he going to go for super softs? And Rabid Tom's still in the mix. He is indeed. So there's Brett Raquette, still with that 1.2 second gap to Pigstig, who's also managed to rack up another half-second penalty. Track limits have not been his friend today, but fortunately he seems to be able to burn that penalty off into turn 1, and he's now clean of that red mist. He is, however, on a very worn set of soft tyres, so that might last him maybe another 3 or 4 laps at most, but I don't know if the fuel's going to go that long either, so he'll probably be in the pits very soon. If he hasn't done already, it might be wise for him to go onto a set of medium tyres, or even the hard tyres just for the rest of the event. So we see Oscar Zero there making a move on Irby. I think I've just missed that one. Let's see if we can go back to that quickly. So he's chasing down the medium tyres. He had a good exit out of turn 1. Slipstream McLaren in turn 2. Irby's gone quite wide there. Oscar Senior's left the door open, and he has stepped straight through it there into turn 4. Good move there by the Alpha driver. So Willie D, having pitted from the hard tyres, is now on mediums in 10th place. So I'm sure we'll see him go for at least 20 minutes on this one. Lankster, I think, seems to agree, for a good 13 laps and finishing on, I would assume that's the super softs or just the normal softs. Yes, comments loaded now, good stuff. So Willie D, as we mentioned before, is definitely one for playing the long game. Definitely looking to do that on having used the 2 harder compounds available tonight. So I'm sure we'll see him bang in an amazing final stint. See if he can claim one of those final podium places. As Pigstig, as predicted, pits off of those worn soft tyres. He's definitely going to need some fuel there. We'll have to see how the rest of his race unfolds. So having passed the halfway mark, we'll have a quick recap. Seth F1, 17 seconds now ahead of Tom Williams. Both of them on fairly worn medium tyres. 2 second gap to Beardy McBeard, again on a fairly worn set medium tyres, but with quite low fuel there from Beardy, so he's going to have to be coming in fairly soon as well. He's got a 6 second gap to Simo, who Lankster reckons needs a couple more laps and then a long stint on the mediums, or to absolutely rag a set of hard tyres. And he thinks the same for Beardy as well. So we have to see how their strategies reflect each other over the next stint of the race. Brett Raquette, after an unfortunate spin towards the start of the event tonight, is down in 5th place. Just ahead of Diovis in 6th. Oscar made a move on Irby a couple of minutes ago and is now 3 to 4 seconds ahead of him. There you go, 4 seconds now in 7th place. There's Irby with an extremely worn front right tyre. He's not going to like going through this corner at all. Willie D's going to see that and be ready for a move possibly into the last corner, but I'd keep it and take the slipstream instead down the straight as Diovis pits just ahead of this pair. Let's ride on board, see what is going to happen here. Irby's like he's just going to let him go. So you can see their neck and neck down that straight. Willie D is going to have the edge with that better exit and the better grip at the last corner. Irby might consider a slipstream and a dive back on the inside, but I think Willie D's got that well defended. He has broken later, but he's not going to have the grip. Look at the understeer on that McLaren, rolling off into the marbles as well. That is not going to help those front tyres, and he needs to be coming in very soon, in my opinion. He's not going to be enjoying that tyre wear, and he'll be losing time both to Willie D in front and to Wayno behind in 9th place. We see him there entering the shot. Lays down in 10th place. Pigstig has emerged from the pits in 11th place with a set of racing super softs. So it's like he wants to put in a hot stint while he can. Diovis is pitted as well on a set of hard tyres, so I would assume he's going to the end. And Blasphemy still at the back on a set of hard tyres, but I'm sure he's biding his time. We know that he will strike when it suits him more than anyone else. Looks like things are getting a little bit more tense at the top there. We see Tom now has lost a little bit more time to Beardy. He's only 2 seconds ahead now. So I think about these front three now, it's going to be more about who's going to hold on to these medium tyres and gamble on putting the super softs on as late as they possibly can, because I believe they all started on the soft tyres. Don't quote me on that because I'm probably wrong, as always. I should really write these down. But I believe they started on the soft tyres. So we will have to see how they go. Lankster reckons Seth is now the favourite to win. If you have a quick look back at Seth, we can see his tyres are in a much better state, and he's got more fuel on board as well. He's not been pushing that Porsche so hard. So Seth's easily got a couple more laps left in his tyres. And I'm sure we'll see him put the super softs on to end his race. But he's going to take the life out of those tyres with any little spins like that. You can see as he leaves that corner, he's getting a little bit slippy there, a bit too keen on the throttle, but he does manage to lift out of it and keep them on the tarmac. So we can see there, Beardy looks like he's still about the same distance from Tom, about that 2/10 or 2 seconds and 2/10. But he's going to be gaining it back through this section here. He's had a better exit through the first of this triple apex corner. But you can see as his fuel indicator starts ticking over into the red, he's dangerously low, and I'm sure we'll see him coming in for fuel any second now. So look, yeah, he's staying right, so he's been heading into the pit, so Simo will be promoted into 3rd place, but Simo with a very worn set of super softs, I'm sure he's coming in soon, and a half-second penalty to boot. He's not going to enjoy that. Lankster says Seth put another set of mediums on. I don't think they're not allowed to use any tyres that aren't hards more than once. So if Seth has used his mediums on this stint, he will have to go to either supers or hards, as I believe he used the softs for his first stint. So Beardy also picking with 4% fuel, but he's left that very, very late. But of course, if he's got a fresh set of tyres at his disposal, we'll fill up a little bit. We'll have to see where that puts him once everyone else makes their second stop. I believe the only person not making a second stop will be Blasphemy at the back of the pack, hoping that a full tank of fuel and a set of hard tyres will take him at least half an hour into the race from his previous stop. See if we've got any more fighting while I'm looking at the track map. I think there's something going down on there in 9th place. That is Beardy, who's just come out of the pits. He's got a full tank of fuel and some hard tyres. So he's going to be pushing that McLaren as hard as he can. But he does have the ominous pink Ferrari of Pigstig behind him, bearing down on a set of fairly fresh super soft as well, and half a tank of fuel. That Ferrari is going to be ferocious through this sector in particular. We can see that he's really gained a 1/10 of a second just out of one corner. And of course, the last thing you want to see when you've got a full tank of fuel and a slow set of tyres is this menacing beast roaring up behind you there. All a 9,000 odd RPM of screaming porky fury. Let's see if he's got any slip. He'll definitely have the slipstream going down the straight there, but will Beardy be able to catch Lays 1 star and slipstream him and try and escape from the Pigstig? Let's see how their lines are into the last corner. Pigstig keeping not the most tight line to his inside, but does make the most of the exit. He's lost some time to Beardy on that corner, but will make it back in the slipstream. Is he going to be close enough for a move down the straight? Will we see another double move as Lays 1 star is at the edge of the shot as well? That'd be an ambitious task. I'm not sure he's going to try it on 2 cars. He's not even going to try it on Beardy, so maybe he's going to wait for another lap. But we can see now Lays 1 star is not doing very well. What's going on with him? He's got a very worn set of mediums. We can see him understeering already into this long sweeping left-hand corner. Beardy's going to know that in maybe 1 or 2 laps time, that's going to be his position for the taking. Unless he goes for it early, maybe Lays has let them go, or he's just not got the grip to deal with that. I think Beardy's right next to him side by side. He is. Beardy's going to go round the outside. Pigstig's going to look for it as well. And I think he's going to have that on the inside. Smart driving by the pair of them. If we run a ball with Lays, you can see he's had a wide line there into that corner. Beardy sweeps around the outside like he isn't even there, and Pigstig thinks, I'm going to grab some of that as well. Bit of door bashing there, but he's going to make that move stick on a much softer set of tyres. Good driving by those two. Sorry for Lays. losing 2 places in 1 corner, but it is what it is. Let's get back to the front of the pack. Seth has now got a 24-second gap to Simo. Simo Pitt, I've missed it? No, he's still on the soft tyres, but those super soft tyres are absolutely ragged now. You see that front right tyre, and even the rear right tyre as well, they're almost half as grippy as the left side. So he's probably coming in very soon to ditch those for, what I would assume would be maybe the hard tyres. Unless he's got a set of softs that I've completely missed. The soft tyres should do about 20 minutes, but I believe he's already used them up. He will nonetheless, at least through the corners at least, make some time over on Gr.4 in 3rd place on the hard tyres. Hopefully he won't be going for the Binotto advice tonight and just use the tyres he needs. Willie D's come back up in a 4th place, but does have the ferocious Alfa Romeo of Oscar Zero bearing down in 5th place. We're seeing much lighter through his corner, but he has gone on the gravel. He's going to keep it. No, he's not kept it. He's recovered it very well, but that's the last thing he wanted there. We can see him chasing down Willie D in the bright blue McLaren there. But you see that rear tyre is not holding on. He's been braking. He's not had a good line into the corner, and he's lost it on the way out. That gravel trap has taken a couple of victims this evening. And he's almost lost it on the dangerous sweeping left-hander on the exit. Luca calls Oscar a plum. And looks like he's going back into the pits with his tail between his legs, it seems. So perhaps a lucky escape there for Willie D. Or maybe luring Oscar into a mistake there. But looks like that was Oscar 0, gravel trap 1. As they make their pit stops then, they then concede their positions to Tom Williams, who's had a fairly quiet race. But you can see they come into the pits and come out again with a fresh set of hard tyres. And a very healthy looking tank of fuel, so he should be going to the end as well. Interesting number of drivers going for a heavy tank hard tyre combo this evening. I thought we'd have seen a much more aggressive strategy. I suppose with the fairly high tyre we've got around here and the amount of very, very steep angled corners, it's taken a lot more life out of the tyres than we'd expected. Seth now coming into the pits then to get rid of those medium tyres. Let's see what he ends up on. We'll track him in a moment. As you see, Beardy McBeard in 5th place, still got the pig stick right behind him. Brett is in 7th place, so having lost that place to Pigstig somewhere previously. I was probably his pit stop. He's got a fresh set of tyres on now, so he doesn't want those hard tyres at all then, did he? Is Pigstig going to make a move? We see Simo as well in the pits on those super soft tyres. They both have to come out within the next, I'll say, 10 seconds to see how they're doing. But I want to stand board here with Pigstig and Beardy. This is the hot battle at the moment. We see Seth Simo from the pits, still ahead, it looks like, of Willie D. Is Simo going to keep 3rd place, or is he going to lose it to these two here? Battling ahead, there's Tom Williams heading down the main straight now. Pigstig's going to be following Beardy McBeard like a hawk down the start-finish straight. Simo still in the pit lane. He does not want to be caught in traffic. What is going to happen to this 3-way battle? Simo's now leaving. Soft tyres, 71% of fuel. Is he just going to make it out in front of them? He's going to be swamped. The Hakkinen and Schumacher manoeuvre from Spa. And Pigstig takes the place on Beardy for good measure. Fantastic. We love to see it. Beardy's not going to give that up without a fight, nor is Simo, who has just pitted onto a set of soft tyres. He'd be very racy indeed. Up the inside of Beardy McBeard, taking a bit of grass for good measure. And it's like that's how it's going to be for the time being. Let's get another look at that move down the straight there. So Simo coming out of the pits there, not got any momentum at all the grip on those soft tyres, but no power to put it down. Pigstig takes him on the left, Beardy takes him on the right, and he tries to go for the cutback, but Pigstig just has the traction out of that corner. Meanwhile, Simo on the soft tyres, fresh tyres, on the inside there, takes a little bit of grass to get past Beardy. Might investigate that later, but very, very exciting driving from the 3 of them there. Fantastic work there, boys. And they're still going. Simo, is he going to try a brave move running outside of Pigstig? I don't think so. He's going to go for a cutback instead. You see the nose of that Porsche just peeking in past that triple exhaust of the Ferrari, but not having any success for the time being. I think these guys have definitely worked out. It's like Pigstig. What's happened to Pigstig? Oh, guys, I'll put it in the comments. I think we know what's happened there. Let's have a quick look. Pigstig runs wide, clips the barrier. He's kept it in a straight line, but he's not going to be happy with that. And he's put it in pits. Those soft tyres have definitely run their course. It's a shame. We saw a fantastic battle there, but it's just not worked out for him, as Lay's One Star Joys are in the pits as well. So Seth with now a 6th and 3/10 gap to Willie D. See if I can catch some of his comments. I missed them. Yeah, Oscar, stay on track. We're not playing Dirt Rally. Langster, Willie D's got to look after the tyres for 2nd place. So look at Willie's tyres. Yes, those mediums are definitely looking worn already. He's not been on them for a very long time. About I think 14 minutes so far. He might go for another 2 or 3 laps and put the supers on at the end. But he's going to be falling prey to Tom Williams at that rate, if not Simo as well. Luca, GT Sport with the replay save and running through different perspective, much more convenient for stewarding than the F1 games. Very much so, especially for the live events like the top 16 FIA nations and manufacturers. I'm sure they use that all the time. Many people watching them like a hawk. Of course, I'm just hoping that I click the interesting bits when I'm not dozing off. I think that we've got a much closer fight going on towards the back of the pack if they're not lapped cars already. Let's have a look at the back. It looks like it's Irby and Lay's trying to have a go at each other maybe as they head through turn 3 and 4. Or turn 4 and 5 I should say. We've got Irby on the hard tyres, Lay's on the soft tyres, so really Lay's ought to be pulling away as quick as he can, but perhaps he's just not taking those optimal lines into the corners. Let's see if Irby's got any ideas for him as they head towards the tight right-hander that's already claimed a couple of victims this evening. No, so Lay's just got this one locked up. He's going to try and pull away for the time being. So our current running order is Seth in 1st place, Willie D in 2nd place, but those worn medium tyres will need replacing very soon. Tom Williams in 3rd, a second and a half ahead of Simo, who is closing him down fast on a soft set of tyres. So this will be an interesting fight within the next few corners, I'm sure. I think we'll stand ball by these guys for the time being. Let's see, Simo chases down Tom Williams into the gravel trap of doom. Tom Williams looks like he's about to take some of it, but decides better against it. Good man. But this is going to invite Simo in. He's reclaimed half that gap back through that mistake alone, and even more so now through this triple left-hander. Simo knows now he's probably just got to stay behind. No early decisions. Don't jump the gun. Maybe even just push him through this corner. Give him some more speed. Let him know you're there. Force him into a mistake. He's right on the back of that Honda. They are nose to tail as they head over the start-finish straight into lap 32. Simo's going to be looking for maybe a late move into turn 1, but Tom Williams is probably expecting it already. You see he hugs the inside line there. Simo's heading onto the right-hand side. Will he try and go for a Brett around the outside? They are both late on the brakes. Simo is going to make that outside move. Fantastic job there from the Porsche. Looks like he's learnt his lesson earlier. And he's not going to let that move be a detriment to his memory anymore. He's going to make that an imitation, a mirror image pass there. And Simo sure will be chuckling to himself, and if Brett watches him back, he'll be going, yeah, I taught him that one. Let's see if he can make that gap now to Tom Williams. He's already 9 tenths ahead now. Make that 9.5 tenths, make that a second. So now he's definitely out of the slipstream range. This is what he needs as we get into this last one. We've got maybe 20% of the race now. He's got to pull away on the soft tyres, but also not take too much life out of them, or he will fall back into the clutches of Tom on the hard compound. Meanwhile, we can see the back of that Beardy McBeard and Brett Rickett. Looks like they're going to be getting into a battle very soon. Brett only 1.5 seconds behind, but he's been gaining time through that corner. Beardy needs to get a much better run out of this final sector. Brett still gained another 2 tenths on him there. On a slightly softer set of tyres and about the same level of fuel, he's going to be one to watch, especially through the grippier parts of the track. Will he be in the slipstream range by the time they head onto the main straight? Takes a very wide line there, and he's going to carry a little bit more momentum through as a result. He might tag into the slipstream by the time they get to turn 1, but I think it will be too late by then. He's maybe having a little look up the inside just to let Beardy know he's there. Try to coerce him into a mistake perhaps. Beardy braking on the rumble strip. It's not the grippiest part of the track, but Brett's also run quite wide there, so he's not going to be making any time through there either. Goodness me, these races always put me out of breath there. As does the scenery in the background. We've got to love these wonderful GT Sport scenery details. They are breathtaking themselves. So, running order one more time as we get into the 11 minutes to go before the end of this race. Seth has an 11-second gap to Willie D in second place, who's got Digital Blasphemy as a lapped car right at the back of the pack. So it's not been his race today by any means. Blasphemy looks like he's looking to take that lap back, maybe on the softer tyres. But the battle that we want to be seen now is Simo and Tom Williams fighting for that final spot on the podium. We can see as well there Beardy and Brett going hammer and nail each other in the background there. Willie D finally ditching those medium tyres, so he's coming in from second place to see where that puts him back in the pack. Meanwhile, Tom Williams trying to close down Simo, breaking the slipstream, but he's not allowed to weave across the track too many times. Looks like he's done his job for the time being. Will the NSX have the grunt to get back in? Looks like he is gaining on him very slowly, but definitely nowhere near enough to make a move on the Brit. So, Willie D's pit stop promoting Beardy up into fourth place, who's going he's pushed Brett to the very limits of the track there. I'm not too sure he's going to be very keen on that, so we can get a quick look at what happened to Brett there. So Brett in the slipstream of Beardy McBeard. Beardy's going to hold the inside line into turn one. Brett fakes for the outside, knowing that it worked on Simmer before, but Beardy clearly knows that's coming. There's a little bit of contact though, he's not left him much space. And they might have a look at that one as they get into the end of the race. Personally, I think that was a little bit dangerous from Beardy. If he doesn't get a warning, I'll be very surprised for his race conduct there. Willie D emerges in sixth place on a set of soft tyres. So he's not going to risk the super softs dying before he gets to that final few minutes of the race. And I think he'll be happy with sixth place, but knowing that he qualified in about seventh, I'm sure he's looking to capitalise on the fighting in front of him with Beardy and Brett. Oscar, meanwhile, kept to himself in seventh place. He's done very well in the Alfa Romeo, also on a set of soft tyres, but they're not looking great. I can't remember if he's got a set of super softs at his disposal, but he needs to make a move on. He wants to get away into that battle ahead of him. You're not going to do it like that, though. We've already had one comment from Lucas saying you're not playing Dirt Rally. And I can't remember the last time Alfa Romeo had any successful foray into off-roading, so let's keep it on the tarmac, eh? I think there's another fight still going up the front there. Is it Brett and Beardy again? Still going at it, but Beardy's definitely increased that distance into turn one. Brett, though, is right behind him into turn two. We can see him right on that rear right tyre of Beardy's. Oh, he's pushed him wide again. He's not going to like that at all. He'll have dirt on his tyres. You can see that Beardy's trying to get that car slowed down into that corner. I don't think Brett's going to be happy with that at all, and I think there'll be some conversations after the race there. So if I look there, I've just missed that clip, I'm afraid. But you can see as well, it's invited Willie D into this battle there. He's now right on the tail of Brett. Is he going to try and take up the inside? So they are going for a move on the inside there, but he will have the outside line, not the optimal place if you want to make a pass here, especially with the gravel. But he's gone round there anyway. Willie D with an excellent move. Is he going to try and take Beardy McBeard on the inside as well? Maybe not quite. Blasphemy looks like he's had the end of his race done there. He's left the room. Can we get a clip there as we see Willie D on the inside of Brett Raquette there. Becomes the outside of the gravel trap. Brett breaks fairly early and Willie D has gone straight around the outside. Brett's going to recognise that move and he'll probably be feeling quite sorry for himself now. He is, however, in the double slipstream of the pair in front. So, put in the comments, outside, inside, what are we thinking from the Belgian here? I love to see it around the outside. He's going to go for a late move on the inside, possibly. No, I don't think he's got the grip on those front tyres anymore, but Beardy's still running quite wide, and actually he's lost that place to Willie D as well. And Brett is now trying to take him on the inside as well. Maybe a bit of payback from the last lap. There's a little bit of bumping going on there. I don't think that's going to happen. So can you see what happened there? So Willie D, he's taking him on a straight anyway. So Beardy's lost the place on a straight, and Brett was going to try and take one off him as well, but it was not to be for the time being. So he's still down in 6th place. So just further back, we've got another battle developing as well. Looks like it's Wayno catching onto the back of Diovis, but he's got some very worn soft tyres on his McLaren there. We can see as well as he brakes extra hard into these corners, I think he's starting to light up those front tyres, lock them up a bit as well, which is only going to hamper his progress. Seth, meanwhile, is now pitting, so he'll be losing a 24-second gap to Simo, so he's probably about to be hitting his pit box any second now. We'll have to see which set of tyres he comes out on. Will he need fuel? Looks like Brett's also made a move on Beardy further down the grid there. He's out on super soft tyres. Where will he be in relation to Simo? Simo is going to be coming out right next to him. It's going to be a battle down to turn 1, is it? No, Simo's got that one locked up before they even have to hit the brakes. So Simo, but you see he's locked up his front right tyre there, braking and steering. It's not going to help him. And we can see Seth there, who's now come out on a set of super soft tyres. This is definitely his race to lose. You see he's really looking for a move on the inside of Simo there, but he's not going for it that time. He has to maybe wait until he's going to go to the inside of this corner. Will he take him all the way around the outside though? Excuse me, if I had a drink every time I said take him around the outside, I don't think they'd even be sat upright in my chair anymore. Seth's not going to go for it there. He's probably going to go for it into this tight, gravelly right-hander. We've seen claim a couple of victims this evening. He's got an excellent slingshot through that sector. Will he have the line on Simo? No, Simo defends well, but Seth's going to save it. I think he knows he's got Simo in the bag anytime he wants him. He's just going to play it safe and sensible. Meanwhile, Lancaster reckons Willie D could get second place here if they're careful. So I can see just in the map as well. We have got that battle going on there between Willie D and Tom. I think he's now catching on the back of Tom. Blasphemy says he's lagged out. Sorry, Blasphemy, to hear that. We hope your internet stands a much better chance. If it's consolation though, Rabid didn't even make the lobby, so it could be worse. Lancaster saying as well that Simo should just let Seth go. I think if I'm Simo, I'm looking at my tyre wear. His front right tyre, you see he's locking it up again, he's absolutely shot. Seth is going to go past him whenever he feels he wants to, and I think Simo is best off letting him go now and use that slipstream to tie him away from Tom Williams. You see Tom Williams is now only 1 and a bit seconds ahead of Willie D, but he seems to have gapped Brett and Beardy fairly easily, so Willie D could be also on, as Lancaster says, for the podium. As mentioned a couple of minutes ago as well, Brett cleared Beardy, I think possibly just before he went down the pit straight. And but I think there may be some bad blood between those two now, unless they can settle it amicably in the Discord. That's what we want to see, really. We jump down the track though. I think Wayno and Diovis are still going at it. Yeah, there's about 7/10 to those two there. But Wayno on a very worn set of soft tyres. I don't think he's got time to come in for another set of tyres without falling to the back of the grid. See, Seth has finally passed Simo, looks like. Oh, he's passing him now on the inside. They've both gone a little bit wide on the grass there. Simo's taking up all the grass. Can we go back and see what's happened there? So you see Seth has gone on the inside of the gravel corner there. Tried to cut back, it looks like, into the triple left-hander. He's done it very well, but it looks like... is there just a little bit of contact there? Maybe. He keeps the rumble strip, but he's gone wide himself there. I think a little bit of contact proves he might have put Simo onto the grass. And that's also going to bring Willie D into that fight again. Simo on those very worn soft tyres. Willie D is now only 1.8 seconds behind the Brit in the Porsche, and if he doesn't keep his head on, he's only going to be moving backwards. Meanwhile, I think we've got another battle going on somewhere near the back, so I can press the right button. Nope, that's too far. There we are. It's Oscar catching onto the back of Wayno and Diovis now. On the super soft tyres, Oscar setting the fastest lap of the race, a 1:25.3. Exceptional timing from the Alfa Slow Mayo. He's not going to go for the move on Wayno though. He's probably going to wait until he gets into the tricky middle sector and take him in the handling sections of the track. So Oscar, who debuted last week in Tokyo, making that move on Wayno as I recommended into the tricky left-hander there. Is he going to go for a double pass as well, take Diovis on this complex as well? He's going to put it up the inside, and he does. 2 overtakes in 2 corners. Fantastic driving from Oscar. Let's see if we can get that from his point of view. He sees Wayno running very wide on his worn soft tyres, and that's a place for free before he even has to put the brakes on. He also sees Diovis leaving plenty of space on the inside, cuts it back very late, but knowing Oscar's got more grip, he's going to push that car very wide, maintain the momentum. As we said before, a crucial part of these Group 4 cars, and he's made 2 places in 2 corners. Great job there. He's got to make sure now he doesn't take too much life out of those super softs. There's only a minute and a half left, but if he pushes them too far, gets a little bit too slidey, he's going to have no grip where he needs it most. So with just over a minute to go, our running order currently is Seth F1, who made that pass on Simo and has now easily extended that lead to 5.5 seconds. I'm not a fan of a pineapple on pizza, but that is a gap indeed. Simo in second, as Langston predicted, now losing time to Willie D. It's about a second in it, but that could easily dissolve as they head into the last few seconds of the race. Tom Williams, again, is a pretty much quiet race the whole way through. In fourth place, I'm sure we'll be very happy with that result. Gr.4 MR, on the other hand, will be very disappointed with his progress. A spin earlier tonight and some battling that he really probably should have avoided has left him further down than where he could have been. It could have been a podium for him tonight, I'm 90% sure. It's possibly the same for BJ McBeard, who's looking very, very low on fuel there. I'm not sure if he'll make it to the end of the race without running out. He also could have done a lot better there. I'm told Willie D's going for a move on Simo. Thank you for Lancaster calling that out. It's nice to have some eyes in the lobby. He's going to try and take him. Is he going to take Simo around the outside as Simo might have done before? Looks like he's going for it. He's definitely ahead into the braking zone. Simo is on the inside though. Give each other space. Willie D's going to try and keep momentum around the outside. They're banging doors. Simo's bumped and he's lost the place. He's kept it on the road, but he can see that place for the time being. So being a lap down will be the winner of the lap down race. We've got our top five is still battling for position. So I think we can safely assume that Seth will walk over this one, but this is the fight I want to watch for the time being. So we can hop on board with Simo as he chases down Willie D. Those soft tyres are looking absolutely shot, and I don't think he's going to have a chance unless Willie D makes some kind of calamitous mistake in the final sector of the track. You can see him revving that Porsche to the maximum of the rev range, use up the rest of his petrol before he reaches the end of the race, but I don't think, even with all this pushing, he's going to manage to catch up to Willie D. You see Willie D already now opening that gap by 0.5 tenth in that corner alone, now up to 9 tenths, so he's lost the slipstream already. I think this is definitely Willie D's second place for a taking, and Simo claiming the last spot on the podium. As we see our race winner, Seth F1, a little shake for the camera there. Well done, Seth. An excellent win, very consistent driving and fully deserved. Fastest lap to boot as well. Willie D just pips Simo as he does a spin over the line in honour of Pigstig. Simo takes third place. Tom Williams takes a very respectable fourth place, and Gr.4 with the very last drops of fuel in fifth place. So there's our order tonight. Seth F1 takes the win, a very convincing victory for the Aussie, and with a clean sweep to boot. A pole position, a fastest lap, and taking home the race win. So one more time before we pack up for the evening. Seth F1 takes home the victory, first place, followed by Willie D. Again, a very, very smartly run race from him, starting on the harder tyres and working his way through to a softer compound at the end. Just nudging out Simo there, whose tyres didn't quite last him to the end of the race. But I'm sure we'll see him come back strong next week. Tom Williams in fourth in the NSX, a very, very good finish from him as well. Brett in fifth will probably be disappointed with his race this evening, but he's to be entering the next event with his head high. BJ McBeard in sixth place. Oscar Zero doing extremely well in the 4C in seventh place. Joris behind Wayno in 8th and 9th respectively. Pigstig's recovered again for 10th place. Well done, Pigstig. And our final two are Lays One Star and Irby, with Digital Blasphemy unfortunately disconnecting towards the end of the race. Well, that's been the ART Group 4 MR Challenge for this evening, round 3. I believe round 4 takes place at, if I double check quickly, I want to say it's the BB Raceway, somewhere we don't see very often, but I could be wrong. It is indeed the BB Raceway. So we'll see you next Friday night, 8:30, for another exciting race. I've been your commentator, SuperSquid. Have a lovely evening and stay safe, everybody.